talk about some special right triangles. We've been talking about right triangles and using Pythagorean theorem. But we're going to talk about some special right triangles, okay? And these are ones that, there's two different types. There's a 45, 45, 90, and there are a 30, 60, 90, okay? We talked about this last year, so this shouldn't be something new, but just something maybe you forgot, okay? So, here is the thing. When you have a 45, 45, 90, you have two angles that are the same. So we learned a theorem a while back that says if you have a right triangle and two angles are the same, then your two legs will be the same, okay? So this is where it's important that you can recognize what is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is opposite the 90-degree angle, okay? So I'm just gonna write that right here so that you know. And these are your legs, okay? So, I've got these designated with x and x square root of 2, okay? So what that means is if you have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, okay? Your sides here are the same, and whatever your sides are, your hypotenuse is whatever that is with the square root of 2 next to it, okay? So, let's look at some triangles where we are given just one of the parts and solve for the missing parts, knowing this is kind of our key. This is what we go by, okay? Now, look at this example. First of all, you have to recognize what type of special triangle is this. Is it a 30, 60, 90 or is it a 45, 45, 90? Well, here's our angle. It's a 45, 45. So this is our key. This is what we go by. Okay, so we know that in a 45, 45, 90 triangle that our sides are the same, okay? But we don't know either side in this case. Now, if you know one side, you definitely can know the other one because it's the same. We don't know either side. All we know is the hypotenuse right here, which is 8 square root of 2. Now, if you look at your key right up here that I have given you, your sides are x, and your hypotenuse is x square root of 2. So if this is my hypotenuse, and this is my key, x square root of 2, and this is 8 square root of 2, then 8 is x, okay? So if 8 is x, then 8 is the length of the sides, okay? So you would just write it 8 and 8. This is your x in a 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right, now let's look at another 45, 45, 90 that we know one of the legs, but we don't know the other legs, and we don't know the hypotenuse. How do we find it? Okay, going back to your key, in a 45, 45, 90 triangle, your legs are the same. So if this leg is 8, then what is this leg? 8, okay? Now, how do you find the hypotenuse if these two are 8? Well, like I said, go back to your key. Your hypotenuse is whatever your leg is with the square root of 2 beside of it. So it would be 8 square root of 2. Let's look at a 30, 60, 90. It's another special triangle, okay? Now, our key, I'm gonna write key really big right here so that you guys get that. Our key is a little different from the 45, 45, okay? In that your short leg, that is the smallest leg that you have on your triangle is your x, okay? All right, and then your long leg is x square root of 3, not 2, square root of 3. And it's not our hypotenuse, it's our long leg, okay? Now our hypotenuse is our side opposite the 90-degree angle, and it is 2x. Now, if you know any of these sides, you can solve for the other side, okay? So, let's look at our first example. In our first example, we know the long leg, okay? Your leg. I'm gonna go ahead and label those for you. This is your hypotenuse. This is your long leg. You'll know which one's the long leg. It's not the hypotenuse, it's not the diagonal one, it's going to be the longest one that's not across from the 90-degree angle, so don't get that confused, okay? All right, so we know our long leg. Our long leg is 11 square root of 3. Okay, how am I going to find x with 11 square root of 3? Well, look back at your key. Your long leg is x square root of 3. So whatever here is x. So x is 11. Where do I put 11? On my short leg, because my short leg is x. Now, I have my short leg, I have my long leg, but I do not have my hypotenuse, okay? So, my hypotenuse is actually double my short leg, okay? So, if my short leg is 11, my hypotenuse is 2 times 11, which is going to be 22. Now, I'll show you how to work it if you're missing the long leg, okay? Now, if you're missing the long leg, but you have the short leg and you have the hypotenuse, you actually don't even have to have all three. I mean, 2 of them. You can have just one, and I'll show you that next, okay? So you have that, we have our short leg. Our short leg is 11, so 11 is x, okay? So we have our hypotenuse. Our hypotenuse is 2 times the short leg, it's 2x, so it's 22. How do I find my long leg? Go back to your key. Your long leg is whatever x is with the square root of 3 beside of it. So if x is 11, then your long leg is 11 square root of 3. Okay, now, so how do you solve one if you only have the hypotenuse and you don't have any legs? First of all, look at your triangle, what type of triangle it is. 30, 60, 90. Okay, so this is the key that I have to use. Okay, my short leg is x, my long leg is x squared root of 3, and my hypotenuse is 2x. Now, I don't have x and I don't have the long leg, and both require me to know x. Now, how do I get x from 22? Well, the short leg is half of whatever your hypotenuse is, because your hypotenuse is 2x. So your short leg is going to be your hypotenuse divided by 2. So 22 divided by 2 is 11. Now I know my short leg. My short leg is x. And if I know x, I know my long leg, and I just put x besides the square root of 3. Now you may be asking, where does the square root of 3 come from and where does the square root of 2 come from? There is a long process to explain that, but for now, all you need to know is that in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, x square root of 3 is your long leg. In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, x square root of 2 is your hypotenuse.